So you're going to... We'll call our meeting to order. First item is invocation by Pastor Tejima. That'll be followed by Pledge of Allegiance by Ms. Basford. Good.
Oh, okay.
I guess Councilmember Whiting thought that I was going to be on my knees giving this prayer. That's why the microphone was down. Join me in a word of prayer, and this comes from King David, Psalm 33. The word of the Lord is right and true. He is faithful in all he does. The Lord loves righteousness and justice. The earth is full of his unfailing love. By the word of the Lord were the heavens made, the starry host by the breath of his mouth. He gathers the waters of the sea into jars. He puts the deep into storehouses. Let all the earth fear the Lord. Let all the people of the world revere him. For he spoke, and it came to be. He commanded, and it stood firm. The Lord foils the plans of the nations. He thwarts the purposes of all the peoples. But the plans of the Lord stand firm forever, the purposes of his heart through all generations. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, the people he chose for his inheritance. From heaven, the Lord looks down and sees all mankind. From his dwelling place, he watches over all who live on earth. He who forms the hearts of all, who considers everything they do. No king is saved by the size of his army. No warrior escapes by his strength. A horse is a vain hope for deliverance. Despite all its great strength, it cannot save. But the eyes of the Lord are on those who fear him, on those whose hope is in his unfailing love, to deliver them from death and to keep them alive in famine. We wait and hope for the Lord. He is our help and our shield. In him our hearts rejoice, for we trust in his holy name. May your unfailing love rest upon us, O Lord, even as we put our hope in you. And everybody said, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Crank up the machine. Okay, next item is roll call. Diane?
Mayor Skoog,
Present.
Vice Mayor Nye,
I'm definitely here.
Councilmember Anderson,
Here.
Councilmember Grossman,
I'm here.
Councilmember Mallory,
Here.
Councilmember Rooney,
Here.
and Councilmember Whiting.
Here.
We have a quorum, Mayor.
Thank you, Diane. Okay, number 5, proclamations, Municipal Clerks Week. Rick Anderson will read the proclamation, and we'll meet you down at the lectern, Diane.
In a moment, you'll understand why Diane normally reads the proclamations. Municipal Clerks Week, May 6th through May 12th, 2018. Whereas the Office of Municipal Clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists throughout the world, and whereas the Office of the Municipal Clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the Office of the Municipal Clerk provides the professional link between the citizens, the local governing bodies and agencies of government at other levels, and whereas municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all, and whereas the municipal clerk serves as the information center on functions of local government and community, and whereas municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the office of the municipal clerk through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, province, county, and international professional organizations. Whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the office of the municipal clerk. Now, therefore, I, Harvey C. Skoog, Mayor of the town of Prescott Valley, do recognize the week of May 6th through May 12th, 2018 as Municipal Clerks Week, and further extend appreciation to our municipal clerk, Diane Russell, and to all municipal clerks for the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the communities they represent. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the town of Prescott Valley to be affixed this 26th day of April, 2018.
Thank you, Rick. Vice Mayor, any comments?
She really runs the place. Don't let her tell you anything different. And most of all, she's magnificent in her performance of duties, and we appreciate her. And now she's totally embarrassed.
You want to recover? Diane, you're up.
I would only say that it has been my greatest pleasure to serve not only this council, but the councils that before. And it occurred to me, as I mentioned to you a couple of weeks ago, that I've been doing this for 23 years now, 15 of them here. And it has been so pleasant that it doesn't seem like it's been that long. I appreciate the council. I appreciate all the department folks that I work with and the staff. And it's just been a wonderful career here. I love it. I love what I do. And I love working with the people of Prescott Valley. They make it good, too.
Council, any comments? Anyone? Mike?
Girls first, come on.
You first, Jody.
Thank you. I appreciate our town clerk. With all the different municipalities around Arizona, you're very good, Diane, at what you do. And I know you're into succession planning, which I care about, teaching those that come up after us. And I know there was just it was the anniversary again for you this not too long ago within this past month. And again, shining colors for you. For y'all know, we have a fabulous town clerk here and a fabulous staff. And it's a pleasure to serve with you. Thank you.
Mike?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you, and it's a nice way to recognize the town clerk and her office and staff. And you don't look a day over 23, 23 years in service. Okay. And she is embarrassed. But, those of us who are going through an election cycle pretty soon here, we're very much dependent on you, and you make a big difference in terms of how those campaigns go, and the 23 years of experience have really come in handy, I think. So we appreciate your help and experience, and I'm not sure how we could forge ahead without the town clerk, because the things that you do behind the scenes are very, very important, and most people don't know. But if some of our citizens want to learn more, they can join the Citizens Academy to find out more about what Diane does. So thank you very much, Diane.
Good. Mary?
Well, Diane, you do a fabulous job. Always going to you for information and getting correct answers and guiding us as we move forward. And when it comes to the elections, I don't know where we'd be without you. You put that all into order for us, and you make everything right. Appreciate you. We're celebrating our 40 years, and you've been a big part of a lot of those years. Thank you.
Marty?
Yeah, Diane. For those of you out there, I would say almost all of you probably do not have any dealings with the town clerk's office. For those of us that see what Diane does and the many hats that she wears, she's not just the town clerk. There are other hats that she wears. She's a risk management person, and considering that she only has a few people on her staff and the amount of work that they do, she's actually a miracle worker. And from our point of view, we could not run this town without her being there, and it's always evident. And on top of it, she's also the go-to person. Every major organization has that go-to person. If you have a question, call this person. It doesn't matter whether you're in Texas and they're in California. There's a go-to person in a large organization. Well, Diane is the go-to person for the state for all clerk questions. And she wears the hats proudly and well. And yes, we will embarrass her. We really do appreciate what she does. So thank you.
Rick?
Diane, thank you so much for everything you continue to do for us. It goes without saying that we depend on you a lot, and you never complain about it, at least not to us, which I appreciate. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Rick. Any other comments, Diane?
No, I've had plenty to say. Thank you. And I appreciate all the comments of the council members. That's wonderful to hear.
Well, it's the first time you've kept it under a minute.
I'm working on it.
Yeah. She does a super job. Everybody loves her and does a wonderful job. Thank you, Diane. And many more good years serving. Another 23 years.
Thank you.
Okay.
Put your mic down.
Thank you, Susan. Okay, next is a life-saving award. Where's Sergeant Hayes and Officer Lighthead? Chief, you're up.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. As you know, we do our annual awards banquet where we do Officer of the Year and so forth, but I'd like to bring these in front of Council so that not only you, but our community can see and hear about the actions of their officers. On December 15th of 2017, about 7:30 in the morning, Officer Leithhead was dispatched to Buena Vista Drive for a report of a 55-year-old man who was unresponsive on the bathroom floor. Sergeant Hayes, where is he? Get up here. Sergeant Hayes knew that he was closer than Officer Leithhead, so he also responded. Sergeant Hayes was the first officer on scene. Family on the scene quickly waved him into the residence. Sergeant Hayes found the male down on the floor of the bathroom, checked for a pulse, and determined that he was not breathing and he did not have a pulse. Sergeant Hayes quickly began life-saving measures with CPR. Officer Leithhead arrived on scene shortly after and assisted Sergeant Hayes with moving the male out of the bathroom and floor and into the bedroom, where they continued CPR until fire and medical personnel arrived on scene. With continued life-saving measures, the male had a weak pulse and breathing, and he was transported by ambulance to Yavapai Medical Regional Center East. Fire personnel on scene later stated that if it had not been for the quick actions and the application of CPR of the responding officers, the male would not have made it to the hospital. When officers left the hospital, the male was breathing and had a pulse. And so Officer Leithhead was unable to make it tonight, but Sergeant Hayes is here, and so I would like to present him with the Prescott Valley Police Department's 2017 Life Saving Award.
One more, Chief.
Pay attention. Chief.
Oh my God.
No
I
blinking.
didn't think Chief.
I don't have anything to say. We were just doing our job. Thank you.
Now, go ahead. You got 20 minutes.
That's all I've got, sir.
Go ahead.
We're proud to do our job.
You're doing a good job, and we really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, and we'll see you later.
Okay, that ends it. Okay, next item is Student of the Month. Mike? Mom and sister going to stand with her?
Well, as I always say, I repeat myself a lot, but this is my favorite council meeting, the fourth Thursday of every month. And that's because we honor a student, Bradshaw Mountain High School, the Student of the Month. And we do that in cooperation with the Optimist Club of Yavapai County and with, of course, the town of Prescott Valley and Bradshaw Mountain High School. And we're honoring tonight Jacqueline Bassford. And Jacqueline says she's not nervous, so I'm going to see if I can change that a little bit. No, it's something I'm sure she's quite used to. But we always look for students in our community who excel, and it's something that obviously we don't know about, so we count on Bradshaw Mountain staff to let the principal know Court Minor, in terms of the leadership skills, the academics, and other involvement in the community these students have. And then we hopefully can recognize as many of these students as we can. And Jackie, I'm going to just leave it at Jackie. I can't say Jackie. I don't know. But she does exemplify, and that's what really makes us happy, the values not only of Optimist Club of Yavapai County, but the town of Prescott Valley and, of course, Bradshaw Mountain High School. And it's an honor because when I was growing up, I don't think we had ways to determine how students are doing other than their faculty and staff at school. And so this is a great way to acknowledge and celebrate the students that are really raising the bar in terms of academics and leadership and community involvement. And I do have a little information, and it always is kind of interesting because depending on the student, we have a great big resume or a very small resume. And we have a summarized resume this month, and which is good. And so I'm going to leave some of the details, since I'm going to take your thunder away, except for the academic stuff. And Court Minor, the principal, can kind of expand on some of these things to give you an idea. For an example, that Jacqueline participates in the Interact Club, which is part of Rotary, Mu Alpha Theta, which I think is is that a math? Yes, it is, a math club. Link Crew, that helps new students come in, I believe. And then HOSA, which is a health-related organization, and hopefully Court can give us more information about that. She is on the varsity track and field team, has been for 3 years, as a scholar athlete as well as part of that. She's been a varsity football manager for 1 year, and she indicates that she has contributed over 100 hours for that. So I guess football takes a lot out of people. So she is taking 3 advanced placement classes and 3 dual enrollment classes. Dual enrollment is something where they not only take classes at Bradshaw Mountain High School, but also, I assume, at Yavapai Community College. And again, I'm counting on Court to mention some of that. She did take first place in the Bradshaw Mountain High School essay contest. The Optimists also have an essay contest. We really missed you this year, but we do have, I think, somebody from your school as well representing that as well. You've worked with at Mountain Valley Splash for 3 years, and we appreciate that. That's the large pool facility we have in the town of Prescott Valley. And she is planning to attend, which is a little unusual because we usually hear of close universities or colleges, but she's planning to attend Black Hills State University to study psychology and counseling. So obviously I'm not going to shake her up by talking about these things. So I'm going to turn it over to Court Minor, the principal of Bradshaw Mountain, and he can give us a little more background and perspective.
Thank you, Mr. Whiting, Mayor Skoog, Vice Mayor Nye, council members, distinguished guests. My name is Court Minor. I'm the proud principal of Bradshaw Mountain High School. Our Student of the Month is nominated and voted on by our staff. And so it's not handpicked by administration. It's nominated by those teachers that see these students out there in action. As Mr. Whiting has said, Jacqueline's been involved with Mu Alpha Theta, which is a kind of a math honor society on our campus. Link Crew, which welcomes our 8th graders and helps them with the transition into high school. She's part of HOSA and part of Interact, which give a lot of service organizations that give a lot back to our community. She's been a scholar athlete. She's been a football manager. She's been in track. And so I'm hoping you're hearing from what I'm saying, what Mike's saying. She's not only a student, all right, but she's also involved in many clubs and athletic programs at the high school, which for me makes her a very well-rounded student. She, on top of all of her busy stuff that she's doing from work to AP courses, dual enroll courses, all the clubs and organizations that she's in, at the 7th semester, she was in the top 7% of her class, ranked number 20 out of 329 students. I think that's a tribute to her dedication to the school and to her academics. But more importantly, when I talk to the students and some of her friends and some of her teachers, which we have a few here tonight, I like what they have to say better about Jacqueline. Jacqueline's very compassionate. She cares about the people around her. Doesn't matter what group they put Jacqueline in. She makes that group and she makes that class and those students around her better. And to me, that speaks volumes about a student. So it's my pleasure. I'd like to introduce Jacqueline Basford.
I would like to thank the town of Prescott Valley for having me here and all the Student of the Month here to honor me. And also for employing me because I love working at the pool. And then I'd like to thank the Optimist Club. I don't know where he went. And also all my teachers who voted for me to be here, Mr. Miner, of course, and then my mom and my sister and my dad who isn't here, but and the rest of my family, my grandpa and my grandma, because they encouraged me to do well in school and be involved, and I don't think I'd be a student without them. So thank you.
I can tell she is a little nervous. She's very active with her hands and arms. But we would like you to introduce your mother and your sister, and then maybe tell us a little about, and then we'll ask the mother and the sister if they'd like to say a few words as well.
All right, we'll come closer then, I guess. Okay. Well, this is my mom, Pam, and then this is my sister, Jordan. She's a junior next year, so maybe she'll be here next year. In my spot. I don't know. Maybe. Okay. Challenge accepted. And then, I don't know. Do you guys want to say anything? He's going to hassle you until you do.
You'll be here a long time if you don't.
I love my sister.
I've known my sister my whole life, and she's... Yeah. She's one of the most interesting people I've ever met. And she deserves this award very much. And she's a fantastic person.
Well, I'm a proud mother, and I'm glad the doctors were wrong. I was told I would never have any more kids, and I got these 2 beautiful girls. They're my miracles. I always say they don't always act like it, but they are my miracles. But she's just an astounding child. She's just been an achiever her whole life. Even since she was little, she puts 100% in everything she does, and I couldn't be more proud of her. She's just amazing, and I think she's going to do amazing things in college and in her life. So just really proud of her.
Well, it's an honor that we can bestow some things on you tonight, and it's just things that hopefully you'll remember this evening because it's very important, very special, and it's something that only a few students throughout the year can achieve, so you should feel very proud. But we do have a certificate, just indicates that you're the Student of the Month, and hopefully you'll hang this or put it somewhere where you see it often and remind you. Better do that. And it's easy to put a frame in. And we do have a paperweight. It says Student of the Month, Optimist International. So all that work you're doing, as far as psychology and counseling, you can put this on top of it, keep it close to you. And we hope, as we always say, that once you've achieved your academic level and your degrees, that you'll consider coming back to Prescott Valley to share that and give back to the community. And we know you will. So congratulations. Job well done.
Well, thank you, and congratulations. Keep up the good work. Okay, next we have HUSD Teacher of the Year recognition. Rick?
Yes. Last month, there was an evening of celebration for the Humboldt Unified School District where the Humboldt Education Foundation celebrated the Teacher of the Year. We on the foundation thought it would be a great idea to be able to bring all of the nominees as well as the students who nominated them here tonight so that the whole town could recognize those teachers that seldom get the recognition that they deserve. So I've invited the board here, and John Hagan is the president of the Humboldt Education Foundation. If John would come up, I'd like him to introduce his board and then invite all of the nominees up and let the world see them.
Way to go, John.
Thank you, Councilman Anderson. I would like to recognize the board members that are here. Vice President of the board, the foundation, Kathy Brissetti, and board member Dale Fitzner. I don't see anybody else. Carm Staker is also a member of the board, and Pastor Wendy Swanson is a member of the board. It is really a great honor for us to recognize the Teachers of the Year for 2017-2018. Just a little bit of history of how it all works. Students actually write a letter nominating a teacher, and the school then chooses the letter and the teacher that was nominated. Then we had 11 nominated this year. They go to the Humboldt Education Foundation board members, and it is up to us then to choose 2 winners as Teachers of the Year, one for the elementary schools and one for the middle schools and the high school. You can imagine how hard that is to be in that position to select 2 winners out of 11 great teachers. So what I'd like to do is a little school exercise and call roll to see who's here. And before I do that, introduce Dan Streeter, the superintendent of schools for Humboldt School District. So Dan, glad that you could make it. From Coyote Springs Elementary, the student nominator was Jessica Hink, and the teacher nominee was Michelle McCabe. From Granville Elementary, the student nominator was Colin Bowser, and he nominated somebody that he knows very well, Amy Bowser. And from Humboldt Elementary, Alyssa Roberts was the student nominator, and she nominated teacher Terry Pemberton. And there were two from Liberty Traditional School, one for the elementary grades and one for the upper grades. Hugo Garcia was the student nominator, nominated Ray Tagon. Wyatt Doherty nominated Ronald Mayer. From Mountain View Elementary, Orion Varon nominated Stacia Kontek. Thank you, Joanne. From Bradshaw Mountain Middle School, Jade Rudy nominated Ashley. Help me with that one. From Bradshaw Mountain High School, there were two. Student Savannah Nugent nominated Cynthia Sobo. And Jacqueline Bassford nominated Nicole Marshall. All of these teachers were nominated, and the two winners, I'm getting there. The two teachers that were the top two winners and were named the Teachers of the Year from Lake Valley Elementary, Janie Wagner. We're nominated by Yolani Jackson. And from Glassford Hill Middle School, Nate Tannehill nominated Lisa Mosier. And also the principals, some of the principals are here today. If the principals would please stand. As you know, the teachers are going through some difficult times right now, but I think it is very indicative of the support that they have from the community as Teachers of the Year. So congratulations.
Thank you, John, and thank you to all of our winners. It's been a pleasure to have you here tonight with us, and thank you all for being here and supporting all of them tonight. We do support you, so thank you.
I want to congratulate all the teachers. Superintendent Dan Streeter, congratulations on the great staff you have, and give them our ongoing best wishes. Keep up the good work. Okay, next we have a certificate of appreciation for Michelle Hjarting. Did I pronounce that right? Say that again? Hjarting. I guess a certificate is left in Diane's office, so we apologize. They'll be available tomorrow. Casey, you are up.
All right.
Who
we want to?
And Michelle, good
This?
to see you.
Got it? Good?
Ready?
Ready.
Believe this was written by Casey. And she begins. What can I say about Michelle Hjarting that will convey her effectiveness, worth, and dedication to this library for the past 5 years? And then she capped a lot. When Michelle was first hired, we didn't do a lot of programming because we did not have the best turnaround or turnout for it either. One of the very first questions she asked was, how do we know this is what our community wants if we haven't asked them? She specifically designed a community survey to ask these questions. What do they want from us? No such survey was ever sent out previously. In response to the needs assessment over the last 4 years, Michelle has written numerous successful community grants that address digital literacy, cultural issues, creative aging, and community reads. Our most successful grant was the Oasis Lifelong Learning Computer Classes. This was so overwhelmingly popular that after the grant cycle ended, she pushed for a part-time computer instructor for the library. Because of her perseverance and dedication to this project, we were able to hire a 24-hour contract instructor. Michelle always asks why and how can we do it better. She is all about communication between staff and departments. She set up monthly meetings with her colleagues and created and oversees the Library Events Committee, which plans and sets up our monthly library displays and National Library Event kickoffs. She suggested we start our own Book a Librarian Service, a one-on-one appointment-based assistance to help patrons with technology, research, job searching, and even editing academic papers. Our recent grant program, Creative Aging, helps support mental stimulation, creative expression, and social engagement by providing a safe, social, creative space where our aging community members can engage in artistic activities. These activities, such as doodle drawing, playful movement, my life story, and basic printmaking, exercise the non-analytical side of the brain and gives our aging community a place to be with like-minded individuals. This has been an extremely powerful grant series. Because of its popularity, Michelle has written another library series, Technology Act, LSTA grant, to sustain this program for another year. Michelle oversees nonfiction, fiction, DVDs, ebooks, audiobooks, and Spanish materials. This includes material selection for all areas, looking at the bestseller lists, patron requests, and selection resources to ensure that we have a well-rounded collection that represents the needs of our community. She also oversees all adult programming, including the recent visit of the New York Times bestseller J.A. Jantz, meditation classes, all ages board gaming, 2 new book clubs, Veterans Information Fair, Veterans USA Job Help, YRMC Fad Diets, Cowboy Poets, Financial Fitness, Citizen Classes, Chair Yoga, not to mention all the computer classes we offer. Michelle has helped out our library and put it on the map. We are no longer known as that branch library of the city next door. Michelle is an innovator and understands that libraries need to change as communities need to change, and as their needs change. Libraries are about supporting communities, and Michelle understands this concept and has pushed for quality programming for years. So much so, she recently was awarded $4,200 to purchase Wi-Fi hotspots to check out for free. And speaking of grants, and one more thing before we close, as of March of this year, Michelle has written and co-written 5 grants for over $61,000 for the library. Congratulations, Michelle. We're looking forward to the next 5 years and all your great ideas. Thank you.
Laura, you got a comment?
Well, Michelle, you're proof of what I'm so proud of. We have one of the best libraries anywhere, and we aren't just about books. And this library will not die. Not only will it not die, it will be kicking and screaming and having a great good time for a very long time. And I personally want to thank you for making the difference that you made. I knew some of that, but I learned a lot of new things about you, and I'm humbled by your level of dedication. We're going to have to immortalize her somehow.
Right?
I tell you, we're going to have to do that. My humblest appreciation.
Any other council? Rick?
Yeah, I got tired just listening to the list. It's hard to imagine that any one person can do that much in 5 years. It truly is. Thank you so much for all that you've done for us.
Jody?
Thank you, Mayor. Michelle, you're clearly a role model to follow, and our library folks are such fun people. And thank you so much for what you've done already. I look forward to lots more. And I do have a question for you. Has Shelby already picked out a costume for you for the Comic-Con on July 28th?
I think we get to pick our own. Yes. But we'll all be there, though.
By the way, you have to use the microphone.
Thank you.
Any, Mary?
Thank you so much. The impact and the legacy that you leave for the people coming to visit this library and to enjoy it, it's endless. And that's what it's all about, making today matter for tomorrow. Thank you.
Good. Marty?
Yeah, as some would say, 5 years, it's a good start. And it's always nice to hear that we have someone with new, fresh ideas and fresh eyes. And the really nice thing is that our staff and the library board and the town encourage people to be creative, bring new ideas to us, to make the library better than it already is. And after all, it's mostly for the children, and that's our future. So we look forward to what else you could come up with. Thank you.
Mike?
Yeah, I just want to congratulate you as well. I think what you do is very indicative of our other staff in the town, and I think it's just the culture that kind of bubbles up from the internal workings of our staff. And so it's dedicated, hard-working, committed individuals that really make Prescott Valley special, and you're one of those people, so we appreciate your help, and I agree with Marty. Hopefully you're just getting started, so we'll look forward to bigger and better things. Congratulations.
And Casey, you got some good comments?
Diane pretty much read all of
And
them.
Mike, your way.
Diane pretty much read all of them.
Okay.
But really, Michelle has been amazing, and I always look forward to sitting down and meeting with her and brainstorming. A lot of these ideas, they always start out somewhere, and we have fun on the desk thinking of all these great programming ideas and how we can help support our community. And I think when we sit down to write grants, I think those are the best times. And thinking about the future of the library and where we see it and where our community sees that is extremely important to all of us. And our staff is amazing, too. So I'm hoping that she stays around for another 5 years and we can do more amazing 10 years. 10. I think I'll retire in 10. So we're all set. And it's just there's going to be big things, big things from our library. So.
Rick?
Thank you very much.
Just one more quick thing. I just wanted to thank all the others that are here from the library. Because you always do such a great job of coming in to support each other, and it's noticed and it is appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Michelle, we were not ignoring you. You're next.
Well, Casey pretty much said everything that I wanted to say, but thank you for this acknowledgement, and this is a great place to work, and there's great staff here. We're a fun, creative, supportive group, and I'm really happy to be here, so thank you.
Michelle, you still have 19 minutes. Any other comments, anyone? Michelle, thank you so much. Another 20, 30 years, whatever.
Not 30 now.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
We appreciate that. Next, council communications, comments. Anyone from the council? Marty?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. The next 3 weekends, we have different events coming up, and I just wanted to go through them, make everybody aware of what's coming up, because I think they're important, and they're just fun things to do for the town, and they're necessary, some of them. May 5th, next weekend, we have the Team Up to Cleanup. Basically, that information went out with all the water bills. It's on the town website, Facebook page, so it's out there. It'll probably be in the paper at some point. The Team Up to Cleanup, basically, if you have a lot of stuff sitting in your garage, your shed, your backyard that you no longer want or need, as long as it's not toxic or liquid, it's a way for you to get rid of it really, really inexpensively. And as a reminder, if anybody, I know Norm has come up and talked about it, we approved the, basically what needs to be done from the town. And so we've put the word out, but I just want to remind everybody that that's next weekend. The weekend after that is Prescott Valley Days. That goes from the 10th to the 13th. And the highlight of that will be on Saturday morning. We have the Prescott Valley Days Parade. The town council will be on a float. If anybody else wants to talk about it, I will allow it. But if not, we're all going to be in costume, Wizard of Oz, and our float is going to be a very large ruby slipper. So you all want to come out and see that. That's going to be awesome. Okay. Also, Saturday the 12th, that night, there is a huge event happening outside of the entertainment district. It's called Ranch to Table. It's a $60 per person event. There's going to be food and drink and dancing and music and entertainment, and it's being done by the Cattle Company, and it's being supported by the Fain Signature Group. They're providing the beef. So there's going to be a really nice barbecue for that. And then the weekend of May 18th and 19th, we have the home show, which is going to be at the event center. Just to let you know that there will be a booth there from the town, so you will have an opportunity to speak to people from the town. Council members will be there. Department heads will be there. Some of our staff will be there. So if you have a question, that'll be a great opportunity for you to see us one-on-one. We don't know what booth it is, but I'm sure you will be able to find us. So thank you.
Good. Mary, you got a comment?
Yeah, I'd just like to let everybody know that on May 25th, we'll be putting up about 340 American flags out there on the Civic Center. It'll be for Memorial Day. The display of flags will go until May 28th. They'll be taken down on May 29th. And again, you'll be able to come out and see these flags. We will have names of soldiers that have lost their lives through these last several years of the wars through the 9/11. So take that opportunity, make a note of it. We always look for help. Of course, it's not as many as the over 3,000 that we do for the 9/11 event. And again, this is the Memorial Day event, and we will put those flags up May 25th. I will give more detail on the time and things like that. Thank you.
Jody?
Thank you, Mayor. And Marty, did you already talk about Bob Edwards Park tomorrow? Okay, I want to just mention that real quick. I know there's out at Bob Edwards Park, we're going to be having Arbor Day celebration at 10 a.m. in the morning, go about 10 to noon basically. A lot of the kids are going to be involved, and it's going to be fun, and there's food out there for them. And of course, there's these little sapling trees that we'll be able to have, and it'll be wonderful. But I was going to ask Vice Mayor, in August, we're going to be having our Pinnacle Weekend, and one particular event that we're trying to give our citizens notice of is the Tie the Knot, along with the Cowboy Church. And we also can renew vows. And I thought about, you never know, Marty, somebody might ask you to marry them, and you could come and be married in front of the judge.
That would be very strange.
Wouldn't that be wonderful? So go ahead, Vice Mayor.
Well, Jody is right. We just think that would be the pinnacle of that weekend if some couple chose to have their wedding at our event. We have the venue, we have the stage, and our judge, Carson, has said, I love doing weddings, and tell them it'll be pro bono.
Pro bono wedding. Mine wasn't. Any other comments? If there's no other comments, we'll next go to the consent agenda. Mary will read that.
The consent agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered routine by the Town Council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items, and if discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. Approving the April 5th work study and April 12th council minutes. B, approving the fireworks display contracts with Raymond Pyrotechnic, any pyro for the 4th of July celebration and the 40th anniversary for a total of $35,000. C, department reports. D, accounts payable. E, monthly financial reports. F, council investment reports. And G, approving the proposed grand bill assignment and assumption development agreement.
Okay, anyone want to pull an item for a separate discussion, or do you want to approve it as a whole?
Mayor, I'll make a motion.
Motion to approve?
Approve that.
Second, anyone?
Mr. Mayor, I'll second the motion.
Okay, with a motion in 2 seconds, would you set the vote, Diane?
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, Diane. Okay, move on to number 10, public hearing. Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, State Special Project, SSP Resolution to submit application and anti-displacement resolution. Are you doing that tonight?
I am. Ryan Judy is not here, but I know a little about the procedure, so I'm going to present actually 3 items to you, Mayor, but we'll take them one at a time. What you're going to consider tonight is, I think council's aware, every year we apply for a competitive Community Development Block Grant, or CBDG grant. So those competitive grants are up to $300,000. And this year's project, if you see on the overhead, we've chosen, as we have in many of the past year's projects, is public infrastructure. And this year's project would be Civic Drive to put basically sidewalk and a little lane widening from Civic Drive to Windsong, as you see depicted in the particular exhibit. So council may recall that this has been a standard practice that we've built public infrastructure. In fact, the last history, Ryan has been successful on the last 7 competitive grant applications, and we've done competitive, or actually public infrastructure in each one of those grants. So what we have for you tonight on this particular agenda item is we need to conduct a public hearing for public participation. I think council is aware that this federal community development block grants is very methodical, lots of paperwork to make sure we follow procedures that's been laid out. And if I can, just for the public watching us, just some of the background on these projects, if I can read some of that. Projects for community development grants must follow criteria to be considered eligible for this funding. At least 51% of the persons who benefit from the project must be low to moderate income. The project must aid in the prevention of elimination of slums or blight, or the project must solve an urgent health hazard need. So this particular project does meet one of those 3 criteria. And let's talk about some of the public hearings and methodical things that need to be done. Ryan presented on March 22nd the public hearing to solicit input from the public for projects. And during this public hearing, this is when Ryan and the town staff proposed the pedestrian street improvements on Civic Drive between Civic Circle and Windsong. And at that particular hearing on March 22nd, there was no other projects proposed by members of the community at this public hearing. And then council may recall at the town council meeting April 5th of 2008, the council discussed this project and directed staff to move forward with the application for sidewalk and street improvements on Civic Drive. I'm after what Public Works did contract with Dave & Associates to do the required plans to scope the particular improvements to make sure that we're well within the particular grant guidelines. So if we do get awarded a grant, we can deliver the particular sidewalk improvements. So staff has done that since that point, and those plans are done and ready for the grant application deadline. So getting back to what this particular council action is, this is the second public hearing as required per the public participation requirement of the grant. So now, Mayor, I may ask if there's any, you may call up anyone that has any particular comment about this public participation requirement for this particular grant application for this project.
Anyone from the public want to make a comment? Council have any questions? Anything else, Norm?
No, not for this particular item.
I think we understand that. It sounds like a good one. They're all good. The more the better. Keep bringing in those CBDG grants.
Dan, do we need to do any more for the public hearing, or no open and close, or just move on to the next one?
Should be opened and closed.
If there is no further hearing, then I would declare, or comments, I would declare the hearing closed. And we'll move on then to number B, which is consideration to authorize the mayor to sign resolution number 2047, to authorize the application of a CDBG SSP project, funding and adopting resolution number 2048, the anti-displacement and relocation assistance plan as required by CDBG. Norm, that was a mouthful.
Yeah, it is. Just to maybe cap a little bit, Mayor, these are two required resolutions as part of the application process. As you mentioned, Resolution 2047 authors the town to begin application work for the Civic Drive pedestrian and street improvement project for the state special hearing. That particular resolution is attached. And likewise, Resolution number 2048, that town will replace all occupied and vacant and occupied low to moderate income units demolished or converted. I think the important thing about this particular project, this is procedural in nature because there's no dwelling units will be demolished or altered by construction of these sidewalk and street improvements. So really it's just procedural to make sure that we're following guidelines, and those two resolutions.
Good. Any comments, questions, motions, demotions?
I'll make a motion. I make a motion to authorize the mayor, in his absence, the vice mayor, to sign resolution number 2047 to authorize the application for CDBG SSP project, funding and adopting resolution number 2048, the anti-displacement and relocation assistance plan as required by CDBG by electronic vote.
I'll second that, Mayor.
You have the motion and a second. Would you set the vote, Diane?
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, Norm. Go for it. Next, we're going to move on to number C, consideration of authorizing the mayor to sign resolution number 2046 to authorize matching town funds of $60,100 for the Civic Center pedestrian improvements CDBG project. Norm?
Yeah, Mayor, I think this is the third in a series of the three resolutions that you are considering tonight. This particular one is procedural and again in nature, is a document that says that we will have a particular match. Obviously, with these community development block grants, you like to maximize the particular grant award, but it's been standard practice the last few years. We like to put a little HERF funding towards that because you can maximize it, but you still need to have a whole project because we don't like to just build a portion of the sidewalks. So this particular project you see up here would be continuous from Windsong down to Civic Circle. So the $60,100 Gordon Bowers of David Associates has done a really good job in engineering estimates. He's always spot on. And this particular document states that the town will, as part of the application, match any particular matching that's required over the $300,000 grant per the engineering easement, or engineering estimate, I'm sorry. So that's the resolution you have there today is we will agree to, as the matching funds, $60,100 to help in the particular construction of this project in excess of the $300,000 competitive grant award.
A big project, but it's going to be a good one. Laura?
I didn't say so before, but I think we all agree. Anything we can do to make our citizens safer, particularly when they're pedestrian, we need to support and make it happen. And I use that a lot. And I'm always very careful and watching because it's amazing how many pedestrians are on there. And it always makes me a little anxious because there's mamas with little children and I always worry they're going to run out. So having a defined sidewalk will take some of my concerns away when I'm in a vehicle there.
Councilman, it might be appropriate to comment now that likewise, last year's grant cycle, town was successful, very similar grant. And actually right now we have out the very similar project along Long Look, between Lone Cactus from the Long Look High School intersection basically to Bob Evers Park on the residential side. That project's out for bid now. We've had a pre-bid conference and we look forward to opening bids here in the next couple of weeks and actually starting that construction basically in June and finish it up actually while school's out and then that'll be ready for school by the time the 1st of August. So very similar grant like last year. Same model is that a little bit of her funding helps so that we can make sure we get a whole project. Likewise, I think council may be aware, last year's project was the Lake Valley multi-use path, and we cut a ribbon on that, and that was very popular in front of the schools. So to your point, Councilman Nye, we continue to move forward with that particular hardscape and sidewalk improvements for the pedestrian community here in the core of the Civic Center area. Very, very worthy projects and very well used by the pedestrian traffic or non-vehicular traffic too.
Good. Any other questions, comments, motions, demotions, commotions?
Mr. Mayor, I'd be happy to make a motion.
Okay.
Ready?
I think we're ready.
Motion to authorize the mayor in his absence, the vice mayor, to sign resolution 2046 to authorize matching town funds of $60,100 for Civic Drive pedestrian improvement project.
And I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Will you set the vote, Diane?
It passes unanimously, Mayor.
Passes.
Thank you, Mayor. We'll look forward to the application by May 1st.
Good, thank you. Next, D, consideration of authorizing the mayor to sign resolution number 2044, approving the 2018 Governor's Office of Highway Safety, Buckle Up, Arizona, and Enforcement Grant number 2018 IOT-021 and accept the award. Chief?
Good evening, Mayor, Council. This is the grant that we apply for every year. It's to do enforcement actions, particularly in this one, the highway safety buckle up, so seatbelt violations is what we're looking for. It's a grant, and I actually do not have the PAF in front, or the RFCA in front of me, so I forget how much it is.
Any questions, comments, anything to add? Kind of hard to turn down money, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe the Governor's Office of Highway Safety, there is no match. So it's just
It's
an
not a
award.
real big one. It's $3,000.
Oh, okay.
Everything we can get, we take.
Yeah, usually there's no match on them, but if there is, that's good.
Good.
We'll take it, and I'll be glad to make a motion to do so.
We're ready?
Motion to authorize the mayor in his absence, the vice mayor, to sign resolution number 2044, approving the 2018 Governor's Office of Highway Safety Buckle Up, Arizona Enforcement Grant Contract 2018 CIOT-021 and accept the grant award by electronic vote.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Will you set the vote, Diane?
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor.
Bring in all the money you can. Thank you. Okay, we want number E, consideration of authorizing the mayor to sign resolution number 2045, amending administrative policy number 1-07, facilities usage policy, to apply to Prescott Valley Event Center. Ivan, you got any comments?
I do, Mr. Mayor and Council. We've now got complete ownership of the event center. In the past, as you know, it was leased to a private entity. And so our analysis in those days was based on the fact that a large part of the center was in private hands. And so we could argue that certain areas would be public and certain would not. Now that it's completely a public facility, as we know, there's the likelihood that there may be protests from time to time of events that may occur at the center. And like we have here in the in the Civic Center complex, we need to designate certain areas as public forums where those protests might be held, and then be able to specify those areas that are limited forums or non-forums where they would not be held. And as you know, the center is actually held, entitled by the district, the Entertainment Center Community Facilities District, but that entity has adopted town procedures and policies. And so we're amending this policy to include the event center, and then it will be adopted by reference by the ECCFD board. Any questions about that?
Questions, anyone? Sounds complicated, Ivan.
Well, it's only because I explained it. If Larry had explained it, it would have been a lot more simple.
Right.
And made more sense. Yeah.
Okay. Any questions, comments, motions, commotions, emotions?
Mr. Madmer, happy to make a comment. I think it is important because we see all over the country nowadays that we need to be cognizant of that and ensure the safety of our citizens. So I think it's a smart thing to do. So I'd be happy to make a motion.
Great. Appreciate it.
To authorize the mayor in his absence, the vice mayor to sign resolution 2045 amending administrative policy number 1-07 called facilities usage policy to apply to the Prescott Valley Event Center.
I'd be happy to second that.
We have a motion and a second. Will you set the vote?
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you. That's great. Comments from the public. Laura Lee will read the comments from the public.
Consideration and discussion of general unscheduled comments from the public. Those wishing to address the council need not request permission in advance. Any such remarks shall be addressed to the council as a whole and not to any member thereof. Such remarks shall be limited to 5 minutes unless additional time is granted by the mayor. At the conclusion of the unscheduled comments, individual members of the council may respond to an item addressed at the discretion of the mayor, or they may ask the town manager to review the matter or ask that the matter be placed on a future agenda.
Anyone from the public care to comment? Doug? He got his library card. Any other? By the way, you have to use a microphone. Rick? Kirk? No comment. There's no comments? Yeah, comment? Yes, come on up. Welcome. Good to see you.
My name is Mary Hunter. My husband and I just moved to Prescott Valley from the People's Republic of California. And we promise and vow that we are not here to change anything. But thanks for having no smoking inside buildings. I want to say how wonderful and how very welcoming this community has been to us. And everybody's been helpful. And I do have my library card. So I'm doing okay. And I really appreciate the activity that I've been using here, which is the knitting and crocheting, so that I can meet the ladies of the community. Because, we don't know anybody here, and that's a good way to meet people. So I just want to thank you all for having a nice community, and I hope sometime I'll have time from unpacking to help with the community itself. Thank you very much. We're in Viewpoint.
We sure appreciate your comments, and thanks for coming by.
Okay.
Okay, no other. We have one more item, and that's adjournment. And after that, then we have a second meeting.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay, a motion to adjourn. Motion and a second. Would you set the vote, Diane?
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for coming. You can wait for the next meeting if you want. That's Community Facilities District.